The ego trap, why you are not greater than the sum of your parts. There's a dangerous myth that circulates through boardrooms and startup accelerators, the myth of the lone genius, the founder who single-handedly wills a company into existence, the leader who believes they are the business. Let me be direct. No matter how great you think you are not greater than the sum of the parts that make up your business. That statement isn't modesty, it's arithmetic. And ignoring it is one of the fastest ways to ensure your venture never attains greatness. Or worse, implodes trying. How ego masquerades as leadership. Founder ego rarely announces itself with a villainous cackle. Instead, it wears a business suit and calls itself vision. It shows up in subtle, corrosive behaviors. By hoarding credit. Every win gets traced back to your decision. Every breakthrough happened because you pushed. Team members become invisible instruments of your brilliance. Ignoring good advice. You stop listening to the engineer who's built 3 scalable systems. You dismiss the ops lead who's warning about cash flow. After all, you're the one with the title. Micromanaging the microscopic. You rewrite copy that was already fine. You veto a design because it doesn't match your personal taste. You create bottlenecks, then blame everyone else for being slow. Rewriting history. When things go wrong, it was someone else's execution. When things go right, it was your strategy. Ego protects itself by distorting memory. These behaviors don't look like failures at first. They look like intensity, like passion, but under the hood, they're dismantling the very thing you're trying to build, a resilient, high-performing team. The myth of the lone genius. Silicon Valley has romanticized the solo founder for decades. The garage coder, the dorm room dropout, the person who saw what no one else saw. Here's what the myth leaves out. That coder had early testers. That dropout had co-founders, investors, or a partner who paid the rent. Every lone success story is actually a story of interdependence. Businesses are systems of parts. Marketing, engineering, sales, support, finance, operations. Each part has its own intelligence, its own constraints, its own wisdom. When you place yourself above that system, you don't elevate it, you unbalance it. You become the single point of failure. It's hard to understand what you haven't experienced. If you've never been the person staying late to fix a broken deployment, you don't truly understand deployment risk. The real job of a leader. Here's what your actual job is. Root your team's success as much as, if not more than, your own. That doesn't mean abdicating responsibility. It means redefining success. When your lead engineer ships a difficult feature without you touching a single line of code, that's a win. When your sales director closes a deal using an approach you never would have thought of, that's a win. When someone on your team solves a problem better than you could have, you don't feel threatened, you feel grateful. A leader who understands the sum of parts principle does 3 things differently. Number 1, they ask more than they tell. Curiosity is the antidote to ego. What am I missing? Is a more powerful sentence than, here's what we're doing. Number 2, they celebrate competence, not compliance. You don't want people who just follow orders. You want people who think, push back, and improve the system. That requires you to be secure enough to be challenged. 3, they work at the bottom regularly. Get your hands dirty. Do the work you're asking others to do, not to prove you can, but to remember what it feels like. Experience humbles. Humility clarifies. Ego is one of the top killers. In my experience, ego sits alongside greed, ignorance, and government overregulation as one of the 4 top killers of business greatness. Each one deserves its own post, and will get one. But ego is unique because it's the only one that makes you feel stronger while actually making you weaker. Greed. Greed you can sometimes see coming. Ignorance you can educate your way out of. Overregulation you can lobby or navigate. But ego whispers that you're the exception. That the rules don't apply to you. That your team would be nothing without you. That whisper is a trap. A higher perspective. Never underestimate the value of someone who helps you keep a higher perspective, because when you're deep in the trenches of building something, ego feels like armor. From the outside, it looks like what is a cage. The question isn't whether you have ego. We all do. The question is whether you've built structures, people, practices, feedback loops that keep it in check. Your weekly audit. Look at your last 5 major decisions. How many of them genuinely reflected the sum of your team's intelligence? How many were you overriding, ignoring, or simply not asking for input? The parts are there. Your job isn't to be greater than them. Your job is to connect them, trust them, and get out of their way. That's not soft leadership. That's arithmetic.